Let's dive right into this explainer, because we are living in a pretty wild, historically unprecedented era. Think about it. For 99% of human history, calories were scarce. Finding food was literally a full-time job. But today, food is absolutely everywhere. You tap a screen, and boom, an entire day's worth of calories is sitting on your porch 20 minutes later. But here's the irony. Alongside this massive, inescapable abundance of food, chronic disease has absolutely skyrocketed. So what if I told you that your body possesses this profound, dormant repair mode that most of us today simply never even trigger? We're going to explore the fascinating science of medical fasting and unpack a hidden biological mystery about what actually happens when we just stop eating.
It's a pretty striking question, right? Modern medicine usually treats chronic disease as a lifelong management gig. You have high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes or an autoimmune issue, and it's treated like a permanent companion. You take a pill, manage the symptoms, and carry on. But if we look at the environment we subject our bodies to every single day, we have to ask, is our constant round-the-clock access to food actually blocking our natural repair processes? What if food isn't just fuel, but the exact reason our internal systems never get a moment to hit pause, clean house, and actually heal?
Section 1. The Ancient Repair Mode. Unlocking a Dormant Survival Program. To really wrap our heads around this, we've got to separate casual wellness trends from rigorous clinical science. We are not talking about skipping breakfast because you're running late for a meeting. We're looking at the intensive protocol pioneered by Dr. Alan Goldhammer at the True North Health Center. There's a fundamental difference between your everyday intermittent fasting or, say, a weekend juice cleanse and medically supervised water-only fasting. Dr. Goldhammer's protocol is a highly controlled clinical intervention. It means drinking nothing but water under strict medical observation while resting completely. I mean, literally bedbound. They minimize every single calorie burned so the body can focus 100% of its resources inward. It's a serious biological reset designed to push human physiology into an entirely different state.
Section 2. The Modern Food Trap, a system built to bypass satiety.
Before we can appreciate that massive biological reset, we kind of need to understand the environment that makes it necessary in the first place, because we've got an epidemic on our hands. Billions of people globally are dealing with chronic disease, and a massive chunk of the population is overweight. Why? Well, largely because we are constantly surrounded by what are called SOS foods, salt, oil, and sugar. And these aren't just natural foods. They are hyper-concentrated, engineered byproducts designed to literally hack our biology. Think about our ancient ancestors foraging in the wild. Stumbling across a honeycomb or some fatty nuts was a massive jackpot. Our brains evolved to reward us heavily for finding dense calories. But today, the modern food system has basically weaponized that survival instinct. Salt gives us this hyper-concentrated flavor, oil packs unnaturally dense caloric energy, and sugar delivers a huge dopamine hit. Combine them, and you have foods that completely bypass our natural "I'm full" signals. We just keep eating because our biology is being relentlessly tricked.
Section 3. Visceral fat and the switch, reversing the flow of energy.
So let's look under the hood and see what happens when the endless influx of these SOS foods finally stops. Enter our hidden villain, visceral fat. Now, we aren't talking about subcutaneous fat. That's the stuff just under your skin that you can pinch. We're talking about the fat stored deep down inside, wrapping around your vital internal organs, like some sort of toxic bubble wrap. And visceral fat is a metabolically active tissue. It's not just sitting there as inert extra storage. It acts almost like its own rogue organ, constantly pumping out dangerous inflammatory signals and spreading these silent, system-wide alarms. It's a massive driver of chronic health issues, essentially ringing an alarm bell in your body that just never gets turned off.
So, what goes down during a medically supervised fast? Well, your body is forced to flip a massive metabolic switch. First, your easy glucose stores, the sugar floating around from your last meals, they run totally dry. Your brain usually demands a steady stream of that glucose, so it panics a little bit and has to adapt quickly to the fact that new food isn't arriving. That's when your liver steps up and starts producing ketones as this brilliant, highly efficient backup power source. And this is where the clinical observations get really incredible. Stripped of easy energy, the body shifts entirely out of day-to-day storage mode and into access mode. And as it does, it appears to preferentially target, break down, and burn away that highly inflammatory visceral fat.
Section 4. Autophagy, the cellular cleanup crew.
Once that switch is flipped, the body activates what is basically a miraculous internal housekeeping process. Think of your body like a massive, bustling manufacturing plant. If that factory is running 24/7, processing shipments of food day and night, there's absolutely no time to sweep the floors, repair the broken machines, or take out the trash.
The machinery just slowly, inevitably degrades. But during a state of extreme nutrient stress, like a supervised water fast, the factory floor completely halts. Production stops. And that is exactly when the body's cellular recycling crew finally clocks into work, clearing out all the old, broken-down parts that have been piling up for years.
That cleanup process is called autophagy. It literally translates from Greek as self-eating, which sounds a little intense, but it's actually vital. It's the biological mechanism for degrading and recycling damaged or unnecessary cellular components. Instead of building brand new cells, your body breaks down the weak, damaged ones to salvage their raw materials. It's a hugely exciting emerging field of science, and researchers are studying it heavily in the context of intermittent fasting and intense exercise too. But to truly grasp the profound limits of prolonged fasting, we have to look beyond just the cellular biology and into human psychology.
Section 5. The Psychology of Emptiness. Overcoming the Fear of Hunger.
Now, this is exactly where we have to draw a very firm, responsible line. When we hear these incredible stories of disease reversal, we have to separate emerging science, like the clinical case reports and observations coming out of these supervised fasts, from settled medical facts established by huge randomized trials. Fasting is a profoundly powerful tool for exploring human biology, for sure, but it is not a DIY home remedy. It absolutely does not replace standard medical care, especially for serious, complex conditions like cancer. Attempting a prolonged multi-day water fast on your own, especially if you're on medications, is incredibly dangerous. The rigorous clinical environment is what makes safely exploring this possible in the first place.
And being in that environment reveals something fascinating. To quote, "The battle is not only in the stomach, it is in the mind's fear of emptiness." Beyond the biology, the psychological shift that happens during a prolonged fast is deeply profound. Patients who go through these grueling, medically supervised fasts report something amazing. After enduring days or even weeks of nothing but water, the absolute terror of skipping a single meal just vanishes. They completely rewire their relationship with hunger, cravings, and self-discipline. They come out the other side realizing that mere hunger is not an emergency, and honestly, they realize they are capable of doing incredibly hard things.
Section 6. The Return to Normal. The real challenge begins.
Because here's the kicker. The fast itself is honestly only half the story. The fast might wipe the slate clean, but the real danger is just returning to your old normal. Imagine going through weeks of this intense biological reset, only to walk right back into the modern SOS food trap we talked about earlier. You'd literally be missing the entire point. And this is exactly why Dr. Goldheimer and his team are so emphatic about a strict post-fast protocol. It means adopting a diet centered entirely on whole plant foods and completely ditching those engineered salt, oil, and sugar ingredients. It means prioritizing your sleep, keeping up with regular exercise, and committing to this for the long haul. Think of it this way. The fasting is the surgery, but the diet is the physical therapy. Your daily lifestyle writes the rest of the story.
So what really happens when the body finally gets a break from all this excess? The ultimate takeaway from this explainer isn't about setting some crazy personal record for how long you can go without food. It's a profound realization about our modern environment. Maybe the future of health and the secret to living better, longer lives isn't found in what new supplement, medication, or engineered superfood we can add to our bodies. Maybe, just maybe, the future of health lies in what we finally stop forcing our bodies to process. What if we just gave our ancient biological systems the quiet, uninterrupted break they need to do what they were built to do? Heal. It's definitely something to think about the next time you look at the infinite abundance of food surrounding us. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.